Okay, we're ready to start. The red light is on.
Okay.
Ooh. um, so our next speaker is Julie Boniche, and she's from Paris. She's French, and we met you a few years ago when you were involved in the installation for the Dark Awards. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Anna.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to remember. So we have met in the past. We don't know much about her new role, relatively new role at Moment Factory. So that's what she's going to share with us. Over to you.
Hi. So I asked for a small break of light to start this talk. Um, and I wanted to ask if maybe people online can do the same. So if you can isolate yourself in a cupboard, toilet, or dark corner of your office, or wherever you are, that would be perfect for just like 5 minutes, just the beginning of the talk. Um, so I've been working with lights in 13 years, but as you just said, I work at Moment Factory as a multimedia director, which is not exactly the same. So I'm not lighting women in lighting exactly anymore, like not on paper. Actually, I have amazing lighting designers in my creative teams. One of them, my favorite, is there in the crowd, a man, but there. And so I couldn't help myself wondering, even if it's my first love, I had to ask myself, like, am I a fraud here? Should I should I be talking about lighting? Or so it got me to think about my role, and actually it was a perfect timing to reflect on this because I don't like my title, multimedia director. Doesn't make any sense to me since 8 years now. So I thought it's the perfect place to talk about it and try to find the meaning of that also. Hopefully you can help me with that in the end. But before I go into the subject, I wanted to start to tell you a little story, a story of a secret that I once discovered that changed my life. So you ready at home as well, in the dark, hopefully? Or no, that might be the opposite. Yeah, sorry. It wants to tell you stories if you pay attention. It's everywhere around us, in all the little details. It's a flame, it's a spark, it's bright and dark. It's blue, yellow, purple, all the colors of the rainbow. It's sharp and blurry. It's a square, a line, an image. It stands still, but it's actually constantly moving. It talks Chinese, German, French, English, Arabic. It's a universal language. It gathers people together in silence. It controls our emotions to make magic happen. Light is a superpower. Ow. Thanks for the light happening there. Very powerful, indeed. Once I discovered that, my life changed. Of course, a lot of people before me had discovered that, and all of you in this room already knows about this superpower, but not everybody. So I wanted to talk about this and start with a nice sentence, which is, I think that beauty is nothing but a game between light and dark. But how did I discover this very well kept secret? Well, it started like by observing around me, I really always felt that I was living in an ever evolving impressionist painting, that the whole world around me was a stage, and I wanted to capture this because it felt that it was affecting my mood and everything of my life. So I started to capture these moments of lights a bit everywhere around me, just to share it with my friends and family. So I have a blog. It was a Tumblr at the beginning, and then now it's Instagram. But actually, I'm really bad at social media and creating communities and stuff. But it was a very personal way of communicating. I wanted to share with my close ones that a candle can warm a gray day, and that if you stay in the shades, it really feels like a hot day is fresh, and like how everything, all your mood is affecting by light around you. And then people started to send me theirs, which was really nice, a nice feeling. I felt that I was doing something good. That's later, because that was just in a personal way. That's later than when I started to study lighting, set design. Sorry, I was a scenographer. I couldn't imagine a space or a set design piece or volume without thinking the light around it. It would make no sense to me. So when I was studying that, I was always like playing with light, and so my teachers were like, "Okay, but why don't you do light design?" And like, I didn't even know it was a job. And some people knew when they were 14, but I actually didn't know it could be a career. So then I thought it's a good idea. So I finished the set design, and then I went to study light design and discovered that light can be a job. But not much people on Earth, actually, population-wise, knows that it's a job. So I had to spend years explaining that I was not designing lamps. I mean, Natalie does, but I never did. So that we were playing with light as a matter, and that we were transforming entire space and creating dreams and realities, like transforming everything and playing with emotions. So it was hard to explain, but people started to get it. And that's when I studied that actually I discovered that dark was never dark again. All my perspective changed on everything. And actually it was cool because as a kid I was afraid of the dark. That was nice. And white was never white again. I think that all the people in this room really knows what that means. And then I created with light for years. I transformed space. I reinvented, I was really creating entire worlds and theater, opera, and different environments. But today, as I evolved a lot, I was asking myself, what is light? Because light today can be so many things. And I think that actually, after all the talks of today, it's a very good, I'm really happy to hear you after that, because what is light today in this overlit world? For me, the palette is quite infinite, and maybe that's how I got to the job I have today. But it can be a candle, traditional light, video projection, laser, LED pixels. I mean, everything for me is made out of light, all the light sources, so anything you see. And I go even further, thinking that light as a matter is also light. I mean, a surface, as I was saying, like a set design for me doesn't exist without how light makes it exist, how it shapes it, how it's animated, so anything, everything is light. So got me to the question of what is multimedia, because I'm a multimedia director. Because when I say I'm a multimedia director, almost nobody understands what I do. In my personal way, in my personal life, I was used to that, but also in my professional life, when I'm presented to clients, they look at me like, okay, the multimedia director of the team, no idea what it means. Then after, when we work together, of course, it makes more sense. But the first look is quite confused. So until I show concrete examples, it's the same like if you ask to somebody who is not in our field, what is a multimedia installation? They don't know, even clients. So they ask me, what is multimedia today? And I'm like, okay, so you have to show them concrete example. So I looked for a concrete answer to this question and asked Google, what does multimedia mean? And actually, it refers a bit to my first feeling when I hear it, which is why I'm so uncomfortable with it, is that it refers to my first iMac from the 90s, you know, these blue ones. So when you look, it refers to CD-ROMs, actually. Screens, lots of hardwares, screens, headsets, VRs, social media as well, like everything that fits in a computer. So a lot of technical hardware things, which is not at all what I do. Um, so also Wikipedia, I had a look as well, like was saying that multimedia jobs, well, it can be a fine arts and entertainment, but it's in education, medicine, I mean, it's infinite. Journalism, of course. So I wanted to push a bit further and ask to an AI to change, to see concrete results. So that's the collective awareness, a bit of how the world sees this word. But how the collective data of the world would resume in a glance what is a multimedia installation. So I asked Midjourney, imagine a multimedia installation. And that's the first, really the first results I got. I didn't cheat, I didn't do just the first ones. So you see screens, 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 screens everywhere, and lonely people. so, so that was a bit shocking to me because, yeah, it feels like the opposite of what we do. So then I pushed a bit further to see if I add a dash of light and ask, imagine me a multimedia installation made out of light. Then still lots of squares, but we start to feel that we're getting closer to something of what we could do. And that's how I felt like, yeah, multimedia without light actually doesn't make much sense, even for the AI of the world. So I'm not the only one, or the people I know are lost. So I wanted to talk about, in the link of that, like the vision of Moment Factory is we do it in public. We always say to our clients, we take people away from screens, we put them in the physical world, we gather them together, and basically we do multimedia. So there is really something semantically that doesn't work very profoundly. We take a campfire. We always say that the campfire is our main inspiration. So how it gathers people together, how light. So again, it's light inspiration, but how the story worlds that people share around this, how it sparkles, it surprises you. I mean, we try to do digital campfires. We always say, and this is the vision we try to bring to life. We want people to be collectively amazed, which is not lonely in front of screens. So what I do with multimedia, whatever multimedia is trying, I'm trying to find a way to explain my job. So we do installations, experiences, but this is very personal. It's not something that the Moment Factory communicates, but I wanted to find the personal way to explain what I create with. So all the visible part, you know now, everything is made out of light. The invisible part is also very important because as much as possible, invisible of course, but is the control and the new technologies. So how we control the lights, how we animate it, how we move it, we make it fly. A drone without a light doesn't have much sense, basically, for what we do. So this invisible part, like how we synchronize everything, how it pulses and flows, and how we get to the emotion is really a big part. The audible, of course, like any installation or experience without the sound, even if it's a silence, but the silence is something that we work around. So it's really 50% of the emotional impact. And the narrative, of course, gives depth and a red thread to the whole experience. So these are the four main categories that I work with. But of course, I don't work alone. I have really big creative teams that I compose with and that we orchestrate all these multimedia together to create amazing collective moments. So, the list is very long. It doesn't, it's always different, depends on the project. Of course, we create the recipe, the perfect recipe for each project, because we don't work in one area of, it's, every client, every project needs a special recipe. So we we decide, okay, it's going to be this multimedia, this elements are visible, these ones, then we create the teams that we are going to share this project with and carry the project further. So it's everything combined. The magic happens only with the perfect team. Our goal, main bottom line, whatever multimedia media is to embody magic. We want people to feel like an emotion through their body. We want them to rush something, like when you're in a concert and you have 1,000 people around you, or if you're alone in a forest with thousands of lights moving around you. We look for this sensation in the body to make them disconnect from reality and leave something that is strong and that they will remember, because that's how people remember. It's when they have this strong emotion in their body. And why we do this is basically after 2 years of a long job and long journey, you see that and you think, okay, that's why we did it. So I'm going to show now a video of
It's a little bit like the campfire in the sense that people have gathered since the beginning of time around campfires to tell stories and gather in communities. And now that fire has changed and the technology has changed and the stories have changed, but the basic human need has stayed the same.
We do it in public. It's in a way the through line to all the different types of work that we do across many different mediums.
The we is about the people, it's about the team, it's about all those people that are contributing to the project. So we is about a culture, it's about a way of thinking whereby everybody is working together as a team.
We value a variety of different inputs we take from everything around us.
We've been really lucky to have such an amazing variety of clients throughout the years, whether they're rock stars, cities, museums, brands, and this collaboration that we managed to create within these different projects taught us so much throughout the years, and we've really grown through our relationships with all these great people.
All the experience we design here take place in different environments, in different contexts, with different kind of public. It's really a great opportunity for creators to be able to each time have a different canvas.
The risk is an essential element, placing people in a state of being allowed to being wrong and make errors. It's gonna give them the confidence to really push the limits and try new stuff, and this is where innovation comes.
Pushing the boundaries of our work, doing magic, hijacking technologies, doing lots of R&Ds, trying to figure out how we can bridge between cool stuff happening in other industries, bringing them to our works.
I find that magic is the alchemy between how we deal with technology and how we customize technology to suit our own purposes.
We use interactivity and technology to bring people together in the same space and engaging with our content, with our story.
We live to experience. When we create experiences, we're creating a moment of people's lives.
How can I make the people feel the same amount of excitement in this moment that I'm feeling now while I'm creating it?
It's such an emotional feeling when you poured your heart and soul into a piece of work and then you have the crowd give that same level of magic back.
The emotion is at the core of all our projects, and I think that's what also defines us and differentiates us as well.
So it's the combination of all these things that we really care about. We think that this collaboration can create a new campfire, a digital campfire, and that it can foster communion and bringing people together in new ways that we can't even imagine today. And that's why we do it in public.
always very hard when it comes back. So just to conclude, maybe I just go back, or just ignore this slide, but just before the different talks, I really felt that actually this is something we all carry, like this emotion part, and we don't just do lighting design. I think nobody who talked here this morning, or maybe you can tell me after the other ones, but it feels that we don't all just do light, and I think that's how it evolves in the new technologies, but we need new words for sure. So just for the people who doesn't know Moment Factory, we are a unique multimedia and entertainment studios, multimedia, specialized in the creation, design, and production of multimedia environment. We are 400 employees. It's a 22 years old company. And there is 5 offices. I'm in the Paris office. We're around 20, but in Montreal there are a lot. Actually, there are 400, so I think now we're a bit more than 400. But and we have a small office in Tokyo, New York, and Singapore. We are, I think you understood that we are very passionate, experienced, multidisciplinary creators from around the world. And what we do, so we do multimedia installation environments, but in very different, for different projects and kinds of clients. So we do concerts, very big music, so we do Billie Eilish concerts and stuff like this, but we do brand activations, we do cities, so it's like big, a lot of content for this category. It's a company that originally works, they come more from VJing and content producing than lighting. Now there is a lot of mixing, but originally the identity was more about motion design and image. So cities, very big screens, huge airports in the streets, or now we just did the Sphere in Vegas. We worked on the outside content for the opening. Culture, we do museums, everything that is connected to cultural experiences, theme parks as well, and originals are like formats we develop or experience, for example, like outdoor, we do outdoor walks in the forest, so you work like for, I will show you one later. So we develop our own kind of shows. But always we try, as it was well said in the video earlier, we try to explore new types of entertainment. We have an R&D department. We always try to push to surprise people, because that's, again, our main focus. And that's how you surprise people, like always innovating. We were talking about AI, how you integrate AI in your process of working all the time. Like we try to always innovate to surprise people. We do. Very quick resume. And just to go a bit deeper, I selected like 3 projects so that I can show you just a bit more in details. The Grand Magic Hotel, Alta Lumina is the 2 first ones I worked on, and Aura Invalides is the latest we just opened in Paris, so I just share it as well. So the Grand Magic Hotel is actually not very far from here. It's next to Disneyland. It's one of the hotels that are next to the park, not in the park, but next to it. And they contacted us to have a digital experience, multimedia, informatic, whatever name is it. I think they used digital in this case. And I went to visit the hotel during COVID time, so it was very shining hotel looking like. It was really strange to be alone in such a big space. And they had troubles because they had like different designers who had intervened in their space, and it was a bit chaotic. But the space had interesting aspect, which was that there was very big daylight from each side of the grand hall. And there was these pillars everywhere in the space, structural pillars. So we wanted to keep the daylight, but we wanted also to make disappear these pillars and create something that would decorate and create a whole scenography based on these pillars. So we created a second skin that comes around it, and so there is like 12 in the space, and all together connected, they will create a big gallery. So in red, we have LCD screens, and in green, the LED lines, multimedia pillars that comes together in the space to transform completely the feeling of the space. So the idea here was to use the content, of course, as light. We have the LED lines, and we also have, of course, the whole lighting atmosphere that evolves depending on the world we are immersed into. And it was about, of course, there is a strong narrative. We are taking, so I'm going to go, so different travels into, there is 4 different worlds, and they are leaded and we're transported into these different worlds by Monsieur Maurice, who is the director of the hotel. And he has this special elevator that brings you from one world to the other. That's during the night, but during the day, it's like a calm atmosphere. We had to compose with the people. Of course, it's a hotel. It's not a show. It's not a concert hall where you have like a very strong animation all the time. So we had to be specific, and so it was more like giant ecosystems that people were living in. Like in the garden, there is like rabbits that the kids can chase around, and so there's always like small things happening everywhere. And the whole identity of the hotel became this new look. I will just show you a small video of how it ended to be. Then you can see in this like all the 4 categories I had said before. So we have all the visual, which is all about light. We have all this synchronicity. It's a huge canvas. It's 300 million pixels. It's very, very big. Because people are so close to it, we have to create environment that people want to believe in, even. Of course, the soundscape was very important because it's a hotel, so every world had its own soundscape and not music all the time. There is like a playlist in the background, but most of it is more giving life to a butterfly that passed by, or like all the soundscapes that goes around it. And the narrative, I've been quickly through it. Then we do night walks in the forest, mostly in forest, but it can also be like any outside environments. And we tell a story through it, and it's like around 1 kilometer around, and then you go for 1 hour walk. You don't know what you're going to experience. It's like different happenings all around. And you follow a narrative most of the time. We also have some without narratives, but this one has a strong narrative about colporteur. I don't know how to say that in English. It's like these the people who are going from mountain to mountain to bring things to buy to other people before there was car, and it's a French old job. And this one is called giving music to the whole mountains. It has like so people go around the forest, and there's all these different multimedia installation. Of course, a big soundscape, beautiful music, always composed originally. We only mostly compose. We have inside our company, we have musicians. Lighting designer of this project are here both. So, and Lumina walks. We have 13, I think, in the world now. So there's a lot of in the States, in Canada, everywhere, and they all composed around emotion, to engage emotion. So the multimedia, we covered that. And this small video just to last project. So I didn't work on this one, but this is a really nice one that just opened in Paris. So it's inside the Invalides. I don't know if you know the monument. It's in the center of Paris. And this is a second, it's also a format we develop of show. I told you like the original. So this Aura is another original from Moment Factory. The first one was in the Basilique of Montreal, which is still, it opens since few years now, maybe 5 years, and it's created a whole destination for the city. Everybody goes, if you go to Montreal now, you go visit this. So this show, it's a beautiful one in Montreal, and now we just opened this one, which is at least 5 times bigger than, it's a huge building. You see the people, I don't know in the images, but it's monumental. It's really beautiful, and the orchestration and the light and everything is about emotion. So I will just show you a video because images more than words sometimes. Basically, it's hello. I changed mic in between. Now I'm a superstar, supposed to be. Hello. Ah yes. Okay, then I take this way. 1, 2. Okay, works. So. Yeah, so this format of shows is called Aura because the idea is to reveal the aura of the space in a, because sometimes it's connected to religious space, but doesn't have to be, and it's not about religion, of course, but it's something that it's about looking to something bigger than you, and this works also with light. So we go around this theme. So basically, I still didn't find the perfect word to explain what I do. It's all about finding the right word, but I think the industry is going maybe faster than what the words are a bit behind. But for sure, we are all, I think, multimedia directors and designers. So I wanted to end up with this, and I hope that during the Q&As you can maybe help me find a name and go into deeper of what we do. I think now I brought you into a journey in the heart of what we do. So maybe you can help me afterwards. But for sure, something I'm sure of is that in a monumental way, like in the show I just showed you, or just with the essentials of what you can do in your daily life, light has power, and that's a secret I'm trying to tell to as much people as possible, because I really truly believe that if we create all shared luminous moments, the life of everybody will be better, and we need beautiful story worlds more than ever today. So I really am happy to work in this field, and I hope that you still accept me in the lighting industry community. So thank you.
This is probably going to sound really stupid, but I've known of the company Moment Factory for years, but I've never really thought about the name before.
Yeah.
And now just listening to that, I'm sort of, realizing that it's a company that manufactures moments for people. But I never gave it any thought at all, so got it now. Do you want to start? Is there anyone in the audience with a question?
Hi. I was wondering, you sort of talked a lot about, what the company does and that kind of thing, but I wanted to ask you, what is your absolute favourite bit of your job, whether it's like a particular task or whether it's a moment in the process of creating a new event?
I think the slide with the face of the people would say that that's my favorite part of the job, because we do. Do you hear? Yeah. We do. How do you say? Permanent installations. Most of the time, I work on shows that are like 2 years developments. So it's from really visiting the space, creating the concept, creating the team that is going to carry the concept with me, the creative team, and then we all carry it together till the end, and then we integrate it on site for a month, and then it's like a lot of energy, and then you see the people. So I would say for sure this moment.
So what is your power song? Yeah, I'm just joking.
What's your power song?
Sorry for that. I just wanted to tell you that I think the multimedia director is not the baddest word for your job, because all the medias are getting together. Yeah. So you have the LED, the video stuff, you have the light, you have the sound, you have the lasers. In your point, everything is getting together, all the multifaceted way of doing lights. And I think we are all persons who do create moments. And perhaps it feels a little bit better for you to know that somebody like me, for me, is like a multimedia designer. I thought, oh my gosh, I could never do it. Too much things.
You already do it.
Yeah, but in another way. So, but you have a lot of different kind of things which you controlling. And for me, it's a huge word, because multimedia is for me every genre we have in our industry, and it's a lot. Just wanted to add this idea. Okay. Thank you.
I think the question I was asking you yesterday, maybe you have an answer now, but how would you describe to a grandfather who doesn't know anything about what we do? Like, what is a multimedia installation to somebody that doesn't know what is a media, or knows what is a media as like the newspaper or like social media? I mean, it's really hard.
We did talk about it last night, and you said something, and I can't think of anything better than what you said.
No, the thing I thought, what occurred to me when you were saying it, and like one word for this is, and I sort of think I might have to steal from Disney, because they've got the term Imagineer, which is like an engineer of engineer of the imagination, but which I think is really good. But when you were talking today, you said the word emotion so much, so maybe it should have emotion in, or a momenteer. Which sounds a bit weird. You can be a momenteer. It's a very difficult thing to define. It really is. Has anybody in the audience got an answer to that one? Oh. No.
Question. I wonder every time I see a spectacle like this, the behind the scene, how many people and how much time you work to do that?
Which one?
For example, the last one dans les Invalides.
The last one, I'm a lot of people. I'm not the last one. I'm not sure because, but for the hotel, for example, I would say 50 people, and 2 years of development. Not 50 for 2 years, but in total, I would say 50. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
you.
a lot because every detail. I mean, as it's a permanent installation, most of the time also it's not like if we do events, maybe we will not go into such details. It depends also like how we approach the recipe of everything we decide to put inside, but inside the creation. But yeah, it's long and big teams, but beautiful teams. So it's really nice, and it's always different. That's what I love about my job, and that's why it's so hard to define because it's always different. The canvas is always different. Yeah. It's an architecture. It's a small room. It's a huge space. It's a forest. It's a whole of a hotel. It's never the same, which is the cool. It's really the part that I love because I'm always surprised myself about the clients and the encounters we do.
We've got lots of questions. So.
At the front,
okay.
Then here. Yeah.
Hello. I really like the idea of like the experienced designer, and like my question is kind of like convoluted, but I feel like we're very lucky to work in an industry where like we don't need to be doing this. So like people do this because they really love it and it's so emotion led for like such a big part of it. What has been your favorite project where you felt like the most emotional about in whatever way that might be?
I'm going to answer your question, but first we do this because we love it, but I think we need it in the world because we need beautiful story worlds to escape reality sometimes. I mean, I hope so. So that's really why we do this, and we do it for love for sure, but I hope that we need it. And my favorite project, the most emotional one. I would say a light installation I did for the Light Festival of Amsterdam. That was, I don't know how much, long time ago. But it was very simple. We had like suspended a net above a square of the city next to the water. And we had projected an aurora borealis. But it was really simple, but it was really working, and people were always standing above, under it, sorry. So it's small scale one, but the hotel, I would say, it's not my kind of project. Like, it's not I'm not especially fan of Disney or this kind of theme park universe. But we got to a refined detail that really we got to the end of all what we could do. We can always do more, but after 2 years of work, I really felt like we had a really nice experience all together, very nicely finished. So I would say this one was quite satisfactory as well. And the forests, I like them all. It's hard to choose.
Anybody else?
So you don't find me a name?
No, nobody's got a name for you.
Maybe you could think about it and come back to her.
Come back at the coffee break.
Yeah. It's really hard. I mean, like you said about explaining what you as a lighting designer, and like I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with friends, with clients. Like it was always a continual thing. And there's that slide, isn't it? Like what I think I do as a lighting designer, what everyone else thinks I do, and then it's got all these different things. So the same problem. I don't know. I think you're going to have to make up a word. Yeah. I mean, when you said it at the beginning, I was thinking, ask AI, and then that was your next slide. But about those images that you showed, we recently commissioned some AI images for an event in the Middle East. And one was about light art, one was about cities, one was about sort of like integrated system design. And all of the images that the artist produced we're all with one person in. And it's really weird. It's like this, why does AI think that this is, it's so lonely?
I think it is lonely. It is lonely. The
AI is lonely.
Yeah.
Is that why
Midjourney's
you think
lonely.
it's
But
got
you
no
have to
friends.
say with a crowd of people, then it adds.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the base part is alone.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things you said is like in your industry, it's really, really fast growing, and the technology around the industry is really, really fast going. I read a really interesting article the other day how now artists and creators are actually starting to put stories to these immersive environments. Because there's so many immersive environments which seem to be just there for the sake of it. But it's brilliant to see the history of Moment Factory, whereas it's always about the narrative and the story. But with the way the technology is developing, do you have a favorite piece of technology?
Laser.
Or a favorite piece?
Laser.
Laser.
Yes.
Why? Because of the emotional content, or no?
Because it surprises me always, like because I use it a lot in the forest. For
Yeah.
example, I don't use it as a beam techno show laser. I use it as a matter. Last 6 months ago, we went for a new forest walk we are developing.
Yeah.
We went for a night of test, 2 nights of tests, and we put it in the center. There was like 5 huge trees that are 200 years old each, like super old, huge trees in a round. And we put a laser in the center and just shoot it like this. And every tiny branch, everything of the tree was making the laser organic, completely organic looking, and we were all like, "Oh my God!" This is
You've seen it 100 times all of a sudden. Wow.
It's always making me like a kid, and I think that's the whole point of what we do is to find this like wonder inside of us, like in a child. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the one that brings me, and fireworks, but I rarely do shows with fireworks, but also the child comes back with the firework.
In the originals, do Moment Factory own them? So then, commercially, how are they set up? Is that a Moment Factory thing?
Yeah, and so the Lumina walks, there is, I think, around 13 in the world, and Aura now we have 2, and we are developing as well one that is called Mirror. It's a multimedia experience, really immersive. Indoor, so that's a difference because a lot of our shows are outdoor, and that's for now we have 3 different kinds of we call originals.
And I noticed that you don't do much in the UK. There's no London office. Is there plans to bring some Moment Factory magic to London for us?
Yeah, that would be cool. I think they would be very happy. So I don't know why. It's a matter of opportunities, I guess. But I know that we had a person representing in London before COVID, but then after COVID we closed this part. So I don't know, but I will ask.
Thank you. We want some Moment Factory magic in England.
Well, invite us, we will come.
Okay.
For sure. So,
okay. Any more questions?
No? Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was stunning, inspirational. Thank you.